Hey everyone, it's Joe from Gadgetry Tech, and in this video we're going to talk about headphone stands because this headphone stand has been featured in a lot of videos. Pretty much anytime I review a headset or headphone, there's often a close-up of some kind of that product on this particular stand. So naturally, I've been getting a lot of emails and messages asking where can I find it, because it's kind of like, I always hide the logo. It's all clean up front. I'm not a huge fan of this stand. I use it because of how it looks and because I can hide the logo, and I think that's better for a lot of the videos I shoot. However, to help prevent too many people from actively buying this, because I didn't address this, I wanted to make a video to talk about headphone stands briefly. This is very much unscripted. It just got to a point where I got more messages in the last couple of days asking about this stand, and I don't want to keep responding to all these emails with just a basic answer, and I figured this video will help. So, many of us have headsets or headphones, multiple sets, if you have a hobby issue like I do. And I think a lot of people still either hook it on top of their monitor or lay it flat on their desk or next to their couch when they're not using it, whatever it may be. But a lot of us have headphone stands as well or are in the market for it. So this video is to help talk about this headphone stand among other styles and hopefully help you decide, if you are looking for a stand, what kind of features to look for, what's important, what to avoid. So, without further ado, this is the HarmonicDyne headphone stand. You can see the logo. I think I can get it on the top-down view without the light being too glary. Let's do a close-up on this camera. Come on. There you go. HarmonicDyne headphone stand. It's $60. And it looks decent. I got it because it looks like a budget version of the Room's audio line headphone stand, which for some reason I think they discontinued their higher end stand model, which was like $110 to $150 for a single headphone stand. I should have just purchased it because they're harder to find now, but instead I went with this because admittedly I have a lot of headphones and I wanted to get multiple stands that look the same, that wouldn't be like spending $1,000, if you will. So why don't I like it? Well, first thing is the stability. So I'm going to start with the fact that was actually unintentional. I only wanted to show you how unstable it is. So unloaded, you can see it's extremely wobbly by design. Now, they give you a rubber pad on the bottom and on the top view, there you go. If it looks slightly crooked, it's because none of this stuff is assembled in the box. This $60 metal stand comes with this I guess this pedestal piece or the actual stand part itself. This part you have to assemble. The base you have to put the pad on, and the top pad is not attached either. You have to stick it on yourself, and it's a very unforgiving glue. So if you don't line it up just right, well, you are stuck with that. And that actually happened with this one. I don't know, you can actually see it on the close-up of the top-down view. The little metal edge is sticking out. Now this metal edge is kind of sharp, so that's the other issue. So if I get I'm going to be careful because I don't want to damage it. Here is the VZR Model 1. If you're like putting this on or this tips over and this comes down, it's like a guillotine for your headphone or fingers, I guess. It's not like a razor blade sharp, but it is not a rolled smooth edge, which means it can and it has nicked and damaged things. I've had a little nick on my desk from one of these falling over. I have nicked a pad, and you can see just the microscopic tear in the surface material. It didn't go all the way through, but it did damage it. Then the other thing you notice on the top-down view, I'm going to line these up right here, right? Let's make it nice and straight for the camera. Do you see that this is like, I can't bend it any more straight. It is slightly off. I'm not really being nitpicky here. It tends to do that a lot, and I have to kind of force it. And that's because these welds are not perfectly straight. They welded it slightly crooked, and it has this like chamfered flat screw post that comes out. This is crooked. I don't know if you can really tell top down because of the way the camera's going to focus, but this post is not perfectly straight. So you can cheat it a little bit with this because you can loosen this screw and kind of rotate it. So that's what I had to do in order to get it to be a little bit closer to being straight. Then I would tighten that, and then I would screw this down. So it's not the perfect solution, but it shouldn't happen on a $60 headphone stand, to be honest, because for $80, Room's Audio makes a much better stand, and I'll talk about that towards the end of this video. But the biggest issue is why spend this much and have it so easy to fall over? And you can see it even loosened itself up. I'm not trying to completely dunk on this headphone stand. I obviously use it enough because of the looks. Up close, it's nothing fancy. It's just a nice clean piece of metal. I think this would go a long way if they changed this rolled edge to have more of a base behind it so it's more stable, or make this wider and heavier. Even just like a top weight or integrating a weight into the bottom would make a massive difference, because then you fix that and get rid of the sharp edge and twist. That's a lot of changes, right? You can see why I'm not a huge fan. If you're okay with dealing with how this comes and you want to mod it or something because you just like the look, you can still buy it. Linsole sells it. I like Linsole and I like HarmonicDyne. This is available on Amazon too. I'm just not a huge fan of this stand. It's a huge risk for damaging your stuff. It's fallen over with my headsets and headphones on it before. So I'm just very careful, and I use it for my photos, again, from the whole branding thing. But I wanted to fully cover that as honestly as I could in case people are basing their purchase decision off the fact that it's featured in my video. It wouldn't be fair to not talk about it. Now that leads me to the Turtle Beach HS2 stand, which is a grossly underrated stand. It's all metal. It's $40. Obviously, there's no moving parts. It doesn't look as pretty as the HarmonicDyne stand with the exposed metal and the adjustable pad here, but it's built significantly better. And I haven't ever had a real need to adjust the height. It's an inch or two up and down, but for the most part, this gets me pretty much in the exact same height position as what I keep it at anyway. Because there's no moving parts, because it's weighted really well, this is like solid metal, the base is bigger and heavier, it's a lot more stable. And I've had a lot less issues with something like this toppling over. It's probably the most stable one here aside from the Omega style, which I'll discuss. But if you're okay with the Turtle Beach logo on it, that's really the only detractor, I guess, to some people. They don't want to see branding on the headphone stand or even that logo. Some people are anti-Turtle Beach, but there's no knocking how good this stand is. This is actually really good for custom headphone stand projects because of the metal, the way it's finished. It's slightly textured, smooth edges, so it's not sharp like this, so it doesn't damage or scratch your stuff. But you can very easily repaint this if you want to get kind of crafty and make your own custom stand. It has rubber feet. I think I mentioned this, but rubber feet on the bottom does help with stability as well instead of just a big pad, because it puts more pressure on the outer edge as opposed to the middle. I really do like that stand. It's not for everybody, but for $40, it's an awesome pick. Then you have something called the Omega style stand. Now, there are hundreds of different Omega stands on Amazon. I'm not telling you to buy this one. I have multiple Omega stands. There's some here, there's some over there, and some are different brandings. Now, what I noticed and shopped for is I wanted a wider Omega stand. I don't like the really skinny ones because depending on the product you buy, I wanted the pad to have an even covering on the outside edge. So if I put this on, you can see that this one barely fits. There's some Omega stands that are more narrow and it barely covers. Omega stands are cool for certain pads. They're actually fine for headsets if you're using something like the Stealth or the Nova Pro with the Wicked Cushion Freeze pad, because these are very durable to wear. If you have a Sennheiser HD6XX or 650 or 600 or 560, those pads wear out, and a worn pad sounds bad, and replacement pads for those are not cheap, like good pads, not knockoff pads, the actual authentic Sennheiser replacement pads or ZMF pads. When you use an Omega stand, you basically speed run your pad wear, which is kind of defeats the purpose of doing that. I highly suggest not considering that for those types of headsets or headphones. Like I said, if you have something like a Nova Pro or anything that's using a Wicked Cushion Freeze pad, or just a pad that's known to be very durable, these are absolutely fine. Just shop the width, and I like this one because it is a matte finish. It's not glossy like a couple of my older ones, and depending on your pad material, if it's glossy, it can stick if you leave it there for an extended period of time. So this isn't for everything. When you compare this design, all of the weight of the headset is now resting on this hook. You see how this has a little detent in the center? So you can keep it on this. This can, on some models, I guess, prematurely stretch the headband. It's not going to be an issue for something like the Model 1. If you have Maxwell, you can always hook it on the upper strap, but it just, again, depends on your model. With this one, you have the Nova Pro. This has the suspension strap. Don't hook it by the suspension strap. Hook it by this fixed piece on top. It'll never wear out. I'll never wear my pad, and I actually think that looks pretty slick. So I usually prefer the hook design as long as it's okay for your strap. That's your biggest decision you have to make of what mounting system you want. So this is $30. I'll have a link in the description for that, but when you shop Omega stands, just keep all those factors in mind. Look for the width, the finish, etc. All right, so I want to discuss some budget options as well, and it'll kind of make sense on why I'm showing these together. So I actually bought a bunch of these. I don't know if I have them all here, but here's an example. I store a lot of gaming headsets on this particular one because it's dirt cheap, and I love the design. It's just short. So that's where you get this one. So this is the newbie stand, $8.99. This is easily detachable. It's metal. This is not plastic. This is rubber. So I don't know if you can see on the top down, it's flexible. And if you remember, I was talking about the head strap prematurely wearing, things like that. Having a flexible top, I actually reviewed this in the past because I liked it so much, is going to spread the pressure out. And look, it even fits a larger headset like the Model 1. So this little guy is honestly all people need. They have the little silicone feet on the bottom. And as long as it fits, I really like this design. I'm not wearing my pads down. It's stable. It's rounded. I'm not going to damage anything. It's so cheap. And if for any reason you're ever traveling with it, the fact that you can easily take it apart to stuff it in a bag or something is kind of cool as well. Now, the reason why I got the Lamicall headphone stand, which is this guy, this is before I started getting into some of these others. These were like my older stands, is because I wanted height. Here is the Hi-Fi-Man HE1000 SE. The egg-shaped planars from Hi-Fi-Man are very tall when you factor in the strap design and the size of the massive driver. So you can see where this is going. When I tried using these stands, it basically is just resting and therefore not really doing its job. So this one is only $15.99. This too is metal. You can just unscrew it and it's easy to disassemble. It's relatively sturdy. Honestly, the base has a little bit of weight to it. So yeah, even when I kind of tossed it down, it holds up pretty well. And this kind of, you know, what was it, that shoe inserter to get like really tight shoes on your feet? I don't know what it's officially called. But I like this design because it's all curved again. The idea is that you don't want a sharp edge on a pad. So these are inexpensive, but in a lot of ways, these serve their purpose extremely well. Now, depending on your desk, I don't want to ignore something like this. So Lamicall makes a $10 version of this. This is $20, and I got it at Best Buy a while back. I actually got a few of these because when I'm testing a bunch of headsets at night, I start clamping these up. I'll have a few of these. Wow. I'll have a few of these on my desk. These are clamped to the front, which you have this like kind of telescoping, really strong clamp with rubber feet. Then you have a rotating hook. This is rubber coated. You can loosen this and let's really break it free here. I guess I really had to unscrew it more. So you can make this quite long. Again, depending on your desk setup or height or whatever it may be. Now, I like the Lamicall one more because that one is half the price, and to me it actually looks a little bit better, but I don't own one. Because I have these and they serve their purpose, I don't need to buy more. So what I do like though, and something you want to consider if you get a hook style, is get one that rotates, because depending on your desk, you may bump it with your knee or hit it with your hand or something like that. And if you get a fixed hook and you hit it, you're either going to hurt yourself or you could snap this right off or damage something. So having something that has a little bit of give, I know that's an annoying click. I'm near the mic, I'm sorry. But just consider these designs and form factors when you're shopping different gear. All right, so that about wraps up the video. Again, I wanted to make this in response to all of the questions I keep getting on this stand. And even though I use it the most, it's my least favorite one I own because of all of these issues with it, you know, wanting to fall over or cut your headset or damage your desk. It's ripe for improvement. And the issue is Room's audio line has one for $80 that's better in every way, and to me worth spending a little bit more money at that price point. So you don't need to spend that much. Woo Audio has stands for $130 and up, and those are gorgeous as well. They're both built exceptionally well. However, if you have a $100 gaming headset, something like the Lamicall or the Newbie or the Turtle Beach HS2 is really all you need. This is just more for the aesthetics. So Yeah, this was a quick video. I didn't script anything. I hope you found it helpful. If you're new to the channel and this is how you discover me, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I would love to see you at the next video, and I will see you next time. Bye.